Good afternoon. I'm Judy Burges, and Prescott E-News is so honored today that we have Honorable Kimberly Yee, who is the Arizona State Treasurer. Welcome to Prescott E-News and Prescott, Madam Treasurer.
Thank you so much, Judy Burges, a longtime friend. So glad to be here.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you come to be the Arizona State Treasurer?
Sure, it's a little bit of a story. You know, I was born and raised in Arizona, and I had the privilege of working in my pre-election, days for two Republican governors and a former Republican state treasurer. Do you remember Dean Martin?
I do, very well.
Well, yes, and when I worked for Dean Martin back 12 years ago, I never would have guessed that one day I would actually be the state treasurer of Arizona and run the very office where I used to work. And it's just been such a privilege to just be a part of, the policy making over the years. I served in the state legislature for one term in the House and then 3 terms in the Senate, and was Senate Majority Leader while I was in the Senate. And it's just been such a privilege to work with people like you, Judy, and so many other wonderful people who are just trying to make a difference in Arizona.
Well, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about the economy and how the economy is progressing under this pandemic that we've all been suffering from?
Well, Arizona has shown great strides in all of this, even in the pandemic. And we came into 2020 very strong from an economic standpoint. We had great strength in our numbers. We were about 3rd in the nation in our GDP, and that showed great strength in where we were when all of this even began. And that has helped us through these last several months in this economic situation. And I feel that we will come back stronger and a lot quicker than many other states in the country because of that. So just taking a look at the numbers, we have our unemployment rate is just under the national unemployment rate. So that's good news. We are doing very well in our construction, and we are seeing our local governments do the best that they can in the changed environment. So for instance, we manage local government investments throughout the state, our cities and towns, and so many of these other jurisdictions, and so our assets under management numbers are up in above 25% in those areas, and that's great news. So what we're doing is, with the money that we have coming in, we're investing it very well to give back to the taxpayers so that we can come back stronger and faster than ever.
Well, we are so happy that you're there.
Thank you. Well, it's important to have someone who, believes in fiscal restraint and that we cannot spend more than you make. And these are just simple, basic financial terms that we use, and our philosophy as investors for the state of Arizona is safety before liquidity before yield. And we take very great care that we are managing taxpayer dollars, hardworking taxpayer dollars. So we invest wisely, and we want to give more back to the taxpayers so that they don't have to have increased taxes.
Well, I like that, very muchly so, being a fiscal conservative myself.
Yes.
Going back to the legislature, working on budgets and stuff, it's going to be tough.
That's right. And that's why this is an important year, because in years like this where there is so much changing and moving and we don't know what the future, holds from an economic standpoint, we really need to have strong leaders who will stay strong in their foundational principles on making sure that we are fiscally conservative in the areas we need to be, and particularly in these sectors where people might want to move funds out of certain areas and move them into others. We just need people who have that experience and who will be able to make great decisions on behalf of the taxpayers.
Well, thank you. We're so happy that you're there.
Thank you.
So can you tell us about your financial education philosophy, please?
Yes. So I have been serving as state treasurer since last year. It's a 4-year term. And in my first year in office, I really wanted to put a mark on the issue of financial education. As you know, financial education creates awareness of how you are smart with your money and how you manage your money, how you save, and smart investment principles and little things for students to know, like balancing a checkbook or understanding what it means to hold a credit card and carry a balance month to month. And unfortunately, our students were not learning that. And so in my first year in office, we passed a bill, and it was wonderful to now see that students will have a semester in high school so that they'll be prepared and ready for the real world, and they will come out smarter and more successful, and they'll have that financial freedom to be able to do whatever they want. And so we're moving that beyond the classroom Seniors need assistance for financial education on fixed income budgets, veterans, military families, vulnerable populations. So this last legislative session, we passed a bill that now allows for those who are on welfare or TANF, which is the temporary assistance for needy families, that when they are looking at their self-sufficiency qualifications to get back to work, that they have a financial education course as well. And so again, these are all areas that need assistance, and we can get people stronger and more sufficient. And so these are the things that I've been working on financial education. We have much more work to do, obviously, across the state, but I really feel that I felt it was important for the Treasurer's Office to really be that center point. So we created a financial literacy task force. And this brings in experts at the table to go into the various areas of our state to talk about this important policy. And it's very important also that this office stays, on this area even well beyond my term of office. So we put into state statute that financial education and its awareness be a responsibility of the state treasurer. So forevermore, you'll see financial education out of the treasurer's office.
And can you tell us about your 529 plan?
Our 529 plan is brand new to the office. We will be transferring that over in October. And right now, we are going to be marketing that to the very families that need help on, managing a savings early on when their children are very young, so that they'll be ready and have a little savings account for when it's time to get workforce skills, vocational education. They can use these investments for college and higher education as well. And it's really important to get these ideas into the hands of the people who might not otherwise consider college in their families, because this way they'll be able to be prepared and ready to have that available when their kids are ready for college.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you for thinking about that and bringing it into your office.
Of course.
It's another important step in financial accountability.
It is. It is.
And so what do you see as future plans for your office?
Well, we will continue working with our local governments that invest their funds in our office. And we have great news, because we've traveled 5,000 miles just in our first year in all 15 counties to make sure we are having those conversations with our local governments about how we can better invest their funds. And we're seeing great results. For instance, we also manage the funds of the endowment. And our endowment performance has exceeded the big endowments of all of the universities like Harvard and Brown and Stanford, USC. All of these universities, we far exceed their performance levels in how we manage our endowment. And so that means more money for education and for our universities, and this is more money on top of what the legislature provides. So these are all invested dollars, and it goes right back into our 13 beneficiaries. Education will see about $358 million this year in brand new investment funds, and that's up from last year at $342 million.
Well, we're moving forward.
We are.
Thank you so much.
And no taxes, it's just all money from investments.
Well, that concludes our interview today. And Your Honorable Kimberly Yee, State Treasurer, thank you so much for being with E-News today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
And thank you so much for all that you do for our state and children.